A man online pointed out that if you're not a virgin, there's no reason to ask for a betrothal gift. If you want a betrothal gift, then show the premarital medical report. Ladies, if your premarital medical exam GPA and other indicators pass, men would willingly give you 500,000 yuan as a betrothal gift.
I feel like you got your first piece of when you was 22 and you married it.
No, he didn't.
Because it took so long to
right.
get it
I
there,
agree.
and
I
it was
agree.
like, oh yes,
I don't
finally I'm getting
I got married a virgin.
Because that's why
You're right.
that's how you act. You act like that. Anybody who had options out here, if we got options, we can explore.
This video from China Unvarnished begins with a young lady who is on a rant about the request made from a guy she went on a blind date with. She went on a blind date, she met a man and she felt like he was insane. They talked about her 3 demands, which of course are 500,000 yuan bride price. He said he'd pay that. He said he could meet her demands for wanting a house and a car. But he said that she must undergo a GPA premarital check. She said she didn't know what that meant, but I think she does, because does he think he's so outstanding? How dare he ask me to go for a premarital check? I feel like this man must be crazy.
You didn't get no in high school. You get now. Get over it.
Absolutely. Because how many times do you hear men bring up,
how
but what about the girls who had the older guys picking them up in high school?
Get the
like it
over
was
it.
right.
I watched this beauty's statement. Personally, I also believe there's no need for a premarital checkup. After all, this beauty is like a white lotus in a pond, pure and of good character. Since you can rise above the muck without being tainted, why are you so afraid of having a premarital checkup? This man is willing to spend a lot of money on marriage, and of course he wants to marry a flawless woman. Since you're asking for such a high bride price, you must have corresponding qualities yourself. Although this man has already agreed to the 3 demands you made, he's no fool. Since he is spending money and is serious about marrying you, I think his request for you to undergo a premarital checkup is actually reasonable. Beauty, shouldn't you show a bit of sincerity to dispel any concerns he may have? This is not only for your future, but also for your ability to safely have children in the future. Since you believe there's nothing wrong with your character, I believe you should be able to pass the premarital checkup, right? You were so bold when asking for a bride price of 500,000 yuan. Why are you so uneasy about the premarital checkup?
One of the things that's very striking about the contrast between the level of standards that gentlemen are having in the dating market in China and what we're seeing on stage with Anton Daniels is that there are actually men that say, hey, listen, I want to make sure that I'm getting a certain something when I'm getting married that I can be assured of, that I can trust, that I can verify. And so the idea of just going to a clinic and getting a simple check done seems like common sense. But in our community, we're so far away from that you can see the difference.
There would be no single mothers if men stayed around.
Pull up your pants and
if we
shame
could
her.
if we could teach men to be better men.
Don't you want the bride price? Fine, then let's first do a premarital checkup. If the GPA indicators in the premarital checkup meet the standards, then I'll gladly give the 500,000 yuan bride price.
In a country that is as technical as China has become in the last 3 or 4 decades, it makes sense that men who have spent their youth studying to get through college and passing tests to become engineers, programmers, etc., would want to do their due diligence before they make the most important decision of their lives. And what's very interesting is that it's almost kind of an assumption that why wouldn't you do this kind of check if you're going to make a decision about a woman? It's even young ladies who are backing the gentleman up and saying that if he's going to offer you this much money to be his wife, do the checkup.
Recently, there's been an interesting discussion online, especially here in Suzhou, where it's been spreading like wildfire. A certain man put forward the view that if you're not a virgin, you're not entitled to a bride price.
I don't want to date somebody who don't make the kind of money I make. Ooh.
What does that mean?
It means that I'm not, at this big age, I'm not into building anybody up. My building workshop is closed. Like, come whole or don't come at all.
So when were the years of your building days?
This man first proposed that if someone wants a bride price, they must provide a valid premarital checkup report. My goodness, as soon as this view was put forward, it immediately sparked a collective response from many women. They felt that the bride price, a traditional marriage custom in China that has existed for thousands of years, should not be tied to a premarital checkup report. The story started with this man's blind date telling him that if he wanted to marry her, he had to prepare a 500,000 yuan bride price, as it was the traditional custom in her hometown. The man admitted that 500,000 yuan was indeed quite a lot, but he could accept it. However, he added a condition. The woman must accept a premarital GPA checkup.
What's very interesting in hearing this conversation is that it mirrors what we're seeing. We want to keep some traditions, the ones that benefit us, but the ones that don't benefit us, why are you holding us to that standard? The difference between black men and Chinese men gonna stand on that square.
Here, GPA stands for G for the number of pregnancies, P for the number of deliveries, and A for the number of abortions. He believes that through these indicators, some issues could be revealed. These data can't lie, and they can help both parties better understand each other's health status. So, this man directly made the marriage checkup report a prerequisite for giving the bride price. If the report shows that the woman is a virgin, then he would be willing to offer the 500,000 yuan bride price. The woman, on the other hand, responded that she had a nearly 3-year cohabitation history with another man, but they eventually realized they were incompatible and decided to separate.
Anybody who had options out here, if we got options, we can explore. Some people don't have options you can't explore, and that's fine.
You're right.
But I feel grateful for my options. I love my life, and I love the fact I had options. But you cannot sit here and project your lifestyle on other people and say we're wrong for exploring our options.
That pedestal
I'm an explorer, baby. I don't settle.
But if you're not a virgin, there's no reason to ask for a betrothal gift.
But if you're not a virgin, there's no reason to ask for a betrothal gift. But if you're not a virgin,
I would never settle.
That's cool.
And you can't tell me because I didn't marry my daughter's father, which I could have.
You a single baby mama?
Absolutely.
Now, many men say, you women want a betrothal gift and want to get married, right? Fine. Let's go for a premarital medical examination together. What are you afraid of? Is it because the veil has been lifted and your shameful cover has been torn off?
Go get baptized. Take it all off. You ain't got to worry about it. Sage yourself.
So that they can actually be for their husband.
Go get baptized, and then the body's going to be gone, I promise you.
Although starting from 2023, premarital medical exams in our country have become voluntary, the high bride price, 88,000 yuan, 188,000 yuan, or even 500,000 yuan, has made it hard for men to bear. A man online pointed out that if you're not a virgin, there's no reason to ask for a betrothal gift.
You ain't got to worry about it no more. Don't let them trick you into that bullshit.
But I mean,
they can't carry you with you. I don't remember half the I'm not going to lie. I forgot about them. They gone. I don't remember.
If you want a betrothal gift, then show the premarital medical report. Ladies, if your premarital medical exam GPA and other indicators pass, men would willingly give you 500,000 yuan as a betrothal gift.
It's important to remember that for the men that weren't the ones who just looked at young ladies and the ladies just fell into their beds and their underwear just slid off, they had to grind. They had to go through difficulties in college or apprenticeships or just doing what it took to become the man that would be of means where they could offer a bride price. And if you go through that, what could be a better prize than having a young lady who is not carrying another man's child or even lamenting how that relationship with that man broke up? Instead, she's been waiting for a guy to take care of her. You can see this in the market in China, and there's no reason why it would be any different in America. I would just want a woman that's going to love me because I'm her first love. What could possibly be wrong with that?
I feel like you your first piece of when you were 22 when you married it.
Young people should stick to their bottom line when it comes to relationships. Don't be too casual when interacting with someone of the opposite sex. And don't casually cross boundaries. Living together before marriage is not the litmus test for love. Objectively speaking, in a relationship, men invest more than women. Since men spend so much money, they should have the right to know.
They asked, since people are used to the demands of the bride price, and the amounts are often in the hundreds of thousands, then why should a premarital health check, which is a health guarantee, be so objectionable? Some male netizens gave examples. saying that since people always treat the bride price as a tradition, why not view marriage in the same traditional way? In traditional weddings, the groom had to pay a substantial amount of money to marry the bride, and the expectation was that she was a virgin. Based on this tradition, they believe the groom's request for a premarital checkup as the first step and the bride price as the second step is actually very reasonable, and such an arrangement is not excessive. Currently, premarital checkups are gradually becoming a common trend. Although they are not mandatory, statistics show that the participation rate in premarital checkups has increased from 2.7% in 2004 to 62.4% today. The widespread adoption of premarital health checks reflects society's growing emphasis on health issues, especially when planning for marriage and children, making the premarital checkup particularly important. It not only helps both parties understand each other's health status, but also prepares for potential reproductive issues.
It's refreshing to hear a new perspective on mating and family creation, because you can hear in the conversation here that they're not taking this for granted. It is much more serious. So if a guy is going to invest in a woman for a family, he's not going to just say, oh, I fall in love with her and I'm going to accept what happened before I met her as just charging it to the game and we're going to move forward because love conquers all. They're saying, no, I need some information. I need to get the lowdown, the Carfax and all of that, because I am investing in this family. And if I can't get that hard, substantial evidence, then I'm not going to make the investment. It sounds pretty simple, but really what these guys are saying in China is, if you don't have your hymen, then you're not going to get my diamond. Of course, they're modifying it a bit in modernity to say that, well, maybe she had some partners before me, but I'll allow it if it's not too many. The real question is, am I making sure that I'm not getting with someone that hasn't had substantial experience, making sure that certain children that she didn't want to come here, not come here? Because not only is she dealing with that biologically, but she's dealing with it emotionally. If you want the tradition, then you have to be traditional. If young ladies want traditional men, they need to be virgins or near close to virgins if they want to get married to provider men. And if you're a provider woman who has a lot of sexual experience, you have forsaken all of that. And it is now up to us as Western men to understand in modernity rules apply. And if she spent her 20s and 30s having fun with the guys she had fun with, she can't expect the guy to come along in her 40s and treat her like she's a princess that's never been touched. Chinese men seem to understand this. The question is, how long will it take for black men in the West to? Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. I'll catch you in the next video. Take care, guys.